Over a century ago, a forgotten cave in Nevada revealed bones nearly twice the size of normal humans.
If those bones were human, their owners might have stood close to 3 meters tall.
What's most unsettling is how closely these finds match centuries-old tribal legends.
Legends of a race of giant, red-haired people said to have once lived and died within this cave.
This is the story of Lovelock Cave and the mystery that refuses to stay buried. Across history, some tales are dismissed as myth until the earth reveals evidence that changes everything.
Lovelock Cave is one such place, where legend and archaeology collide in unsettling ways.
Bones, red hair, ancient ash, each fragment whispers of a forgotten chapter in human history.
This isn't merely excavation. It's uncovering a story time itself tried to erase.
In 1911, 2 guano miners entered Lovelock Cave seeking fertilizer, not ancient secrets.
But as they dug, strange items emerged. Then, fragments of something unmistakably human.
Some bones were so large they seemed almost impossible for ordinary humans.
One femur appeared nearly 1.25 times normal size, suggesting towering height. Estimated height between 2.2 and nearly 3 meters, double ancient Paiute stature.
Then came the discovery that froze them. Bundles of bright red hair burned around the edges.
The Paiute had long spoken of the Sitika, red-haired giants destroyed generations ago. No tribe in this region possessed red hair, making the find even harder to explain. The discovery was so unusual that the University of California dispatched archaeologist L.L. Loud. Loud began a formal excavation, unaware he'd uncover one of America's strangest archaeological sites.
What he and later teams found would challenge the boundaries of history and myth.
Over months of excavation, objects emerged from deeper, older layers of sediment.
Strange tools, woven materials, and scorched objects hinted at a complex culture.
Among the finds were finely woven items, unlike typical Great Basin craftsmanship.
Careful stratigraphy revealed cultural layers far older than expected.
The pottery fragments showed unfamiliar patterns not linked to known tribes.
One sandal measured far beyond normal human proportions.
A deep burn layer suggested a violent event sealed the cave.
This matched the Paiute account of a final battle inside the cave.
Early reports described bones of unusual size, far larger than typical humans. Some photographs showed femurs so large they bordered on impossible.
Red hair samples recovered from the cave matched no local tribes. Some remains showed scorching, consistent with a fire intense enough to trap those inside. The deeper the dig went, the stranger the artifacts became.
Some bone fragments were significantly thicker than those of normal humans.
Yeah. Near the entrance, a large handprint mold suggested enormous hands.
The miners had unknowingly uncovered evidence fitting the Paiute's oldest warnings.
Sketches from early excavations depicted tall individuals with striking features.
Decorative patterns appeared unlike those of any known Great Basin culture. The cave's depth suggested long-term habitation by an organized community. Evidence pointed toward a catastrophic fire ending this occupation.
Artifacts from surrounding areas hinted that the cave's inhabitants once moved widely across the region.
Some tools appeared too large for average humans to wield comfortably.
The cave became a focal point for one of America's strangest archaeological investigations.
Pottery styles found here differed notably from those of nearby tribes.
Microscopic examination confirmed intense burning, consistent with a deliberate fire.
Certain bone fragments exceeded the size range of normal human anatomy.
Ash samples aligned with accounts of a massive fire sealing the cave's entrance.
And just so. There.
What emerged was unlike anything found in neighboring archaeological sites.
The deeper they dug, the more the cave defied accepted history.
Multiple soot layers showed signs of repeated burning events across generations.
Woven materials discovered here displayed techniques unique within the region.
Lower chambers contained artifacts older than those found near the entrance.
Based on bone measurements, some individuals could have reached extraordinary stature. The scale of the mystery extended far beyond the cave itself.
The stone tools suggested strength far greater than that of typical humans.
Structural marks on the ceiling hinted at long-term habitation.
Charred rope fragments indicated a fire intense enough to trap those inside.
Excavation took years, as deeper layers revealed increasingly unusual findings.
Variety in artifacts suggested a complex culture with diverse skills.
Skull fragments displayed proportions not typically found in human remains.
Conflicting interpretations arose as more evidence surfaced.
Teams expanded the dig as lower formations remained unexplored.
Chemical analysis confirmed extreme heat far beyond natural cave fires.
Reddish hair samples remained one of the most controversial discoveries.
Photographs captured the scale of the dig, but left many questions unanswered.
Diagram attempted to reconstruct the final moments before the cave ceiling.
Some artifacts were too large to fit typical Great Basin cultural profiles.
The deeper sections of the cave held the most mysterious objects.
Markings on clay fragments did not correspond to known local languages.
Some tools bore signs of deliberate destruction by fire.
Connections to nearby archaeological sites suggested a broader cultural network.
Plant remains supported the account of a massive fire.
Some items only made sense when pieced together into larger constructions.
Tribal stories described surrounding the cave and setting it ablaze.
Miners recorded their shock at the size of the remains.
Crates sent to museums contained items still debated today.
Researchers marked locations where oversized bones were recovered.
Some bones were significantly heavier than typical human equivalents.
The burn layer's depth suggested a massive fire of extraordinary intensity.
Hair samples varied in shade, but consistently showed reddish pigmentation.
Local tribes distanced themselves from traits found in the cave.
Textile fragments exhibited weaving patterns not typical of Great Basin cultures.
Deeper tunnels suggested the cave might have served multiple purposes.
Carbon dating placed the fire centuries before modern habitation. Jaw fragments suggested a bite force stronger than typical humans.
Broken weaponry implied a violent conflict tied to the cave's final moments.
The combination of hair, pottery, and oversized bones puzzled early researchers.
Some believe murals once decorated sections of the cave.
Measurements consistently exceeded expected human ranges.
Some items required multiple workers to move due to their size.
Microscopic analysis showed hair thickness outside normal human variation.
The cave's isolation preserved many artifacts from the elements.
The excavation grid revealed a structured layout of findings.
Some fragments challenged established assumptions about human size.
Under UV light, faint markings appeared on several artifacts.
Hair samples collected over decades showed consistent characteristics. Heat fractures indicated extreme temperatures unlikely from natural causes.
Sketches highlighted similarities among oversized objects found throughout the cave.
Each new discovery deepened the mystery surrounding Lovelock Cave's unusual inhabitants.
The cave's unusual remains continued to defy standard explanation.
Scorch marks preserved in sediment pointed to an intense, prolonged fire. Certain tools appeared far too heavy for typical human use.
Deeper corridors suggested the cave served more than one purpose.
Some pottery showed unfamiliar geometric patterns not tied to local tribes.
Historical notes consistently described remains exceeding normal size ranges.
UV scanning uncovered markings absent under visible light.
Multiple layers of burning suggested repeated conflict or ritual destruction.
Several fragments stored for decades remained unclassified.
Surrounding geography indicated potential habitation beyond the cave.
Hair thickness varied, but consistently remained above typical human averages.
Heavy equipment became necessary as deeper areas revealed denser deposits.
Bone texture indicated unusual density compared to human remains.
Lower chambers suggested long-term or multi-generational habitation.
Artifacts varied widely in form, hinting at a complex material culture.
Char patterns aligned closely with Paiute accounts of a deliberate fire.
Stories described giants pushed into the cave before being burned alive. Comparative diagrams showed proportions far beyond typical human anatomy.
Even today, many specimens remain only partially studied.
The size of the excavation area surprised early teams.
Broken tools suggested violent struggle or intentional destruction.
Measurements consistently exceeded known averages for human bones.
Burn scars remained visible centuries after the event.
Nearby sites produced artifacts with similar unusual traits. Woven fragments demonstrated skill not typical of local tribes.
The excavation grid revealed structured placement of artifacts. Pottery in the burn layer confirmed on the event reached extreme temperatures.
Length and girth exceeded typical human parameters by wide margins.
The cave's atmosphere contributed to early myths surrounding its inhabitants.
Sandal impressions indicated individuals with exceptionally large feet. Old reports documented findings now considered controversial.
Ash pockets remained undisturbed for centuries before excavation.
Basket fragments displayed weaving far more advanced than expected.
Simulations confirmed the burn layer required extreme heat.
Hair length surpassed typical measurements for regional populations.
Clusters suggested organized storage or ritual placement.
Some fragments bore markings resembling symbolic communication.
Excavation conditions were harsh and visibility limited.
Animal bones within the burn layer indicated widespread destruction.
Soot streaks aligned with ancient accounts of fire-driven warfare.
The cave's remote location contributed to preservation of evidence.
Illustrations documented proportions considered abnormal for humans.
Thin section analysis confirmed intense, rapid heating.
Preservation required special treatment due to unusual density.
Cultural zones around Lovelock showed unexplained anomalies.
Charred artifacts formed the most compelling link to tribal accounts.
Reference charts could not categorize several oversized remains. Grid expansion revealed yet more anomalous findings.
Heat had partially melted pottery, indicating extreme temperatures.
Findings from deeper sections hinted at a story far larger than expected. Despite extensive research, Lovelock still presents contradictions historians struggle to resolve.
Missing artifacts and inconsistent accounts leave gaps too large to ignore.
Yet the evidence that remains continues to echo the Paiute ancient story.
The fire that ended their conflict may have erased countless clues forever.
Scattered records raise concerns about how early findings were handled.
Some crucial items have simply disappeared from modern inventories.
Photographs remain the only proof for several giant bones no longer locatable.
The truth seems to sit somewhere between legend, science, and what time has erased.
If a tall race lived here, their disappearance remains a haunting mystery. No burial sites, no settlements, no complete remains have ever been confirmed.
Yet descriptions of bright red hair continue to match the Paiute accounts precisely.
Its volume and preservation baffled researchers and fueled deeper speculation.
The ash confirmed an intense event, unlike typical habitation site fires.
This aligns too directly with the Paiute tale of trapping their enemies within.
But the disappearance of key bones clouds any final conclusion.
Skulls once documented have no current records of their location.
Modern tools reveal the site is far more complex than early studies suggested.
Its narrowest points suggest intentional construction or modification.
New mapping identifies chambers never documented in early expeditions.
Compressed layers indicate long-term habitation or prolonged conflict. Entire sections of early catalogs remain unaccounted for.
High soot concentration suggests a massive combustion event.
Their oral histories remain the most consistent narrative of what happened here.
But the physical evidence continues to raise more questions than answers.
No consensus exists over the origin or identity of the cave inhabitants.
Every new excavation complicates the story further.
Even sandals recovered appear oversized compared to typical indigenous artifacts.
Charred remnants suggest intense heat beyond ordinary domestic fires.
The stratigraphy points to multiple occupation periods.
Yet no external settlements connected to these people have been undeniably verified.
Tools found here differ markedly from neighboring cultural groups.
Burn patterns indicate flames trapped within enclosed spaces.
Labels referencing giant bones appear without corresponding specimens.
Some believe early excavation errors erased critical evidence forever.
If the Paiute account is accurate, the final battle was devastating.
Their extinction leaves a void in the region's early human history.
Fragments suggest more lies buried deeper,
awaiting future excavation.
But even with modern tools, Lovelock resists easy interpretation. Vast areas surrounding the cave remain untouched archaeological ground.
Perhaps more evidence lies hidden behind unexcavated chambers.
What kind of people left such outsized traces within Lovelock Cave?
Early notes consistently mention bones far exceeding typical human size.
Today, only descriptions remain. Physical proof has gone missing.
Even shattered artifacts hint at a culture with unique artistic expression.
Yet unanswered questions far outweigh what has been confirmed.
Lovelock remains a place where myth and evidence blur into one story.
Its mysteries continue to haunt archaeologists and storytellers alike.
A violent end, missing artifacts, giant remains. The contradictions persist.
And still, the cave keeps the final truth hidden in silence.
The mystery endures, urging us to look deeper into this forgotten chapter.
Despite decades of research, Lovelock still offers more mystery than clarity.
Each clue uncovered seems to reveal another layer of unanswered questions.
The oversized bones, red hair, and ash remain the foundation of the entire mystery.
Some drawings hint at stories that have long faded from memory.
Old reports contain details missing from modern summaries.
This place has been studied for over a century and still remains elusive. Even today, excavations uncover anomalies that defy easy classification. Records from early excavations lack consistency, leaving many questions open.
Oral traditions suggest a conflict far greater than written history implies.
Burn patterns indicate an intense, prolonged fire, consistent with tribal accounts.
Several artifacts referenced in early journals no longer appear in inventories.
Sediment layers confirm repeated occupation and sudden, destructive events.
The Paiute story describes a final confrontation that ended in flames.
Whether myth or memory, the story aligns with physical evidence.
Every unanswered question deepens the cave's shadow over our understanding.
What truth did this cave witness? And why was it buried for centuries?
If giants once walked here, their story may be far larger than Lovelock alone.
How many more secrets lie hidden beneath Nevada's ancient landscape?
And why did these towering people vanish without leaving a trace behind?
Lovelock leaves us with mysteries that science has yet to solve.
Perhaps the answers remain hidden, deeper than we can reach.
History is never complete, and maybe we've only touched the surface of it here.
Lovelock may be just one chapter in a much larger hidden story.
If you wish to continue this journey into humanity's lost chapters,
Just look to the screen. Your next step into the unknown is there.